So today we're going to be going over the lumbosacral plexus. Unlike in our previous video with the brachial plexus, we only have roots and divisions. But like in the previous video, the divisions are divided into anterior portions and posterior portions. All right, the roots stem from T12, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, S1, 2, 3, 4, and S5, as well as coccygeal 1. I'm going to start off making a couple lines just showing the roots themselves. No muscles get innervated off of the roots. And then breaking this down a little bit further, L1 through L4, that is the lumbar plexus. L4 through S4 is the sacral plexus. And then S4 through CO1, that's the coccygeal plexus. We'll knock that one out real quick because it's very simple. You take S4, S5, and CO1, and that innervates the skin. Okay, now T12 has anterior division. L1 has an anterior division. They also have a branch that combine, and that we have so far the subcostal. We have the ilio-hypogastric and the ilio-inguinal. L2 is weird because half of it is anterior, half of it is posterior. But on the anterior portion, we have a branch from L2 that merges also with L1. That is our genitofemoral nerve. All four of these nerves innervate the genitals and the abdomen. And then we have our lateral femoral nerve, femoral cutaneous, excuse me. That just innervates the lateral thigh, okay? Next on L3, L3 just branches into L2, and it branches into L4. L4 also gets a small branch from S2. And then this is our femoral nerve. And that innervates the iliacus, pardon me, the sartorius, and the pectineus, as well as all four quad muscles, hence quad. We've got the rectus femoris, and then we've got the vastus medialis, intermedius, and lateralis. L5 does not have an ending branch to innervate, but it does go out pretty far. And so far we've covered the majority of the lumbar plexus. We still have to add in our accessory to obturator nerve, and that's from L3 and L4. And this innervates only the pectineus. But then we also have from L2, L3, and L4, we've got the obturator nerve. And that innervates the obturator externus, the gracilis, and the adductors, being the adductor magnus, longus, and brevis. And then it also innervates the pectineus. O gap. And that is the lumbar plexus. Now going into the sacral, we have a posterior division from S1, posterior division from S2, anterior division from S3, and a branch off of S4. And from S2, S3, and S4, that makes our pudendal nerve. That innervates our external anus and our external exterior, urethral. Those are also just known as our sphincters. Okay, now look up here. Off of S1, we have our superior gluteal nerve, and that gets from L4, L5, and S1, innervates the gluteus, medius, and minimus. Then we also have the inferior gluteal nerve innervating the gluteus maximus. And that gets from L5, S1, feeding into S2. Now from S1 and S2, we have our nerve to piriformis, innervating the piriformis, you guessed it. And then from L4, L5 into S1, we have our nerve to quadratus femoris, which innervates quadratus femoris, as well as our gemellus inferior. Easy to remember because it has the same branches as the superior gluteal nerve. Now, same as the inferior gluteal nerve, we have from S5, S1 into S2, we have our nerve to obturator internus, and that also innervates the gemellus superior. Okay, and now time for the big ones. From L4, L5, S1, S2, and S3 on our anterior division, we've got our tibial nerve. For our posterior division, we get it from L4, L5, S1, and S2, and that is our fibular nerve. These divide into deep and superficial. However, cannot neglect this right here. Before it branches out into the tibial and fibular, you have the sciatic nerve. Now for the innervations. For the deep fibular, we have anterior tib. We've got the extensor digitorum longus and extensor digitorum brevis, extensor hallucis longus, extensor hallucis brevis. We've also have our biceps femoris, short head, and then we also have our fibularis tertius. On the superficial portion of the fibular nerve, we have only the fibularis longus, and brevis. Over to the tibial nerve, we have our tibialis posterior. We have our semimembranosus, semitendinosus. My writing is atrocious, I do apologize. We have the popliteus and the plantaris. We have our biceps femoris, long head. We have our flexor digitorum longus, our flexor hallucis longus, and then we also have our gastrocnemius, our calf muscle, our proximal calf muscles, and then our sulcus. Okay, and that is the lumbosacral plexus. Also, a little nugget of information that I left out, my apologies. We did not put in the posterior femoral cutaneous nerve, and that is from S1, S2, coming into S3. And that innervates posterior thigh.